There is a dangerous idea that many people mistake for love. The idea that if you love someone enough, you should never let them go. That if someone becomes the center of your world, your happiness, your purpose, and your identity should revolve around them. It sounds romantic on the surface, it sounds noble. But when love becomes obsession, when attachment becomes dependency, and when grief becomes control, love can transform into something destructive. And few characters embody this psychological descent more powerfully than Obito Uchiha from Naruto. Because Obito's story is not just about losing someone he loved. It is about what happens when a person becomes unable to accept reality itself. When we first meet Obito, he is optimistic, compassionate, and hopeful. He dreams of becoming Hokage. He believes in friendship. He believes in helping others. In many ways, he resembles a young Naruto Uzumaki. He is not naturally cynical, he is not naturally evil. In fact, his greatest strength is his ability to care deeply. And that's what makes his fall so tragic. Because the qualities that make people capable of great love can also make them vulnerable to great suffering. Psychologically, Obito develops a powerful emotional attachment to Rin Nohara. She becomes more than a friend. She becomes a symbol, a source of hope, a representation of the future he wants. And this is where an important psychological principle appears. Sometimes people stop loving a person and start attaching themselves to what that person represents. The person becomes a symbol of happiness, a symbol of acceptance, a symbol of meaning, a symbol of everything they believe is missing from their lives. When that happens, the emotional investment becomes much larger than the relationship itself. And that's exactly what happens to Obito. Then comes the defining trauma of his life. He witnesses Rin's death. But the psychological damage isn't simply that she dies. It's the way the event destroys his worldview. Before that moment, Obito believed the world was fundamentally worth believing in. He believed effort mattered. Friendship mattered. Kindness mattered. After that moment, those beliefs collapse. This is what psychologists call a shattered worldview. A shattered worldview occurs when a traumatic event is so powerful that it destroys the mental framework a person uses to understand reality. The beliefs that once provided meaning suddenly feel false. And when people experience this kind of collapse, they usually move in one of two directions. Some rebuild their worldview, others reject reality itself. Obito chooses the second path. This is where his transformation becomes psychologically fascinating. Most villains want power. Most villains want revenge. Obito wants escape. He cannot tolerate the reality he lives in because reality contains pain. Reality contains loss. Reality contains uncertainty. Reality contains grief. And instead of learning to live with those truths, he decides the entire world is broken. This is one of the most dangerous psychological traps a person can fall into. When people are deeply hurt, they sometimes begin generalizing their pain across all of existence. One betrayal becomes, nobody can be trusted. One failure becomes, nothing ever works out. One loss becomes, life is meaningless. The pain expands until it colors every part of reality. Obito no longer sees the world as it is. He sees the world through the lens of his wound. And wounds are terrible architects of truth. Because pain rarely tells the whole story. It only tells the part that hurts. This leads Obito toward the infinite Tsukuyomi. At first glance, it seems like a plan for peace. A world without suffering. A world without loss. A world without conflict. But psychologically, it's something much deeper. It's the ultimate expression of control. Obito wants to eliminate pain by eliminating freedom. Think about that. He believes humanity would be better off living inside a perfect illusion than facing the uncertainty of reality. And this reveals one of the most important lessons in personal development. Control is often grief wearing a disguise. People try to control situations because they fear uncertainty. They try to control relationships because they fear abandonment. They try to control outcomes because they fear disappointment. The more pain they carry, the more desperately they seek certainty. Obito takes this to the extreme. He wants complete control over reality itself. But the irony is profound. The more he tries to control everything, the more disconnected he becomes from genuine human connection. Because love and control cannot fully coexist. Love requires freedom. Love requires acceptance. Love requires allowing people to make choices you cannot control. Control says, I know what's best for everyone. Love says, I respect your right to choose. Obito confuses these two ideas. He convinces himself that he is saving the world, but in reality, he is forcing his vision upon it. And this is a mistake many people make on a smaller scale. Parents who try to control every aspect of their children's lives often call it love. Partners who become possessive often call it love. Friends who manipulate others often justify it as caring. But whenever love removes another person's freedom, something unhealthy has entered the relationship. The need to control is usually rooted in fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, fear of pain. Obito's actions are driven by all four. Another fascinating aspect of Obito's psychology is identity fusion. Identity fusion happens when a person becomes so attached to a belief, cause, or relationship that losing it feels like losing themselves. Obito doesn't just love Rin. He builds his entire emotional identity around what she represents. So when she dies, he doesn't simply lose someone important. He loses his sense of self. And because he never develops a healthy way to process grief, he spends years trying to fill that void through external means. Power, control, ideology. Yet none of it works. Because grief cannot be conquered through domination. It can only be healed through acceptance. This is why Obito remains emotionally trapped for so long. He never truly mourns. He never truly accepts. He never truly moves forward. Instead, he freezes emotionally in the moment of loss. And this happens to many people. They continue living physically, but emotionally they remain attached to an event that happened years ago. A heartbreak, a betrayal, a failure, a loss. The calendar moves forward, but part of them stays behind. Obito's entire life becomes an attempt to escape that frozen moment. And that's why his eventual confrontation with Naruto matters so much. Naruto represents the path Obito could have taken. Both experience loss. Both experience loneliness. Both experience suffering. The difference is not the pain. The difference is the response. Naruto allows pain to deepen his compassion. Obito allows pain to deepen his control. Naruto accepts reality despite its flaws. Obito rejects reality because of its flaws. Naruto chooses growth. Obito chooses escape. And that's the central psychological lesson of his story. Pain gives you a choice. Not a choice about what happened. Not a choice about the suffering itself. But a choice about what that suffering will mean. Will it become wisdom, or will it become a prison? Will it deepen your understanding, or deepen your bitterness? Will it help you connect more deeply with life, or convince you to withdraw from it? Eventually, Obito begins recognizing the truth. No illusion can replace genuine human connection. No amount of control can eliminate uncertainty. No fantasy can heal grief. Because healing doesn't come from escaping reality.